Happy beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen. It's the Pete Cohen podcast, and it's episode 4 of 4 episodes on creating the movie of your life. Look, let's face facts. You are the actor. You are the director. You are the producer. You can choose your supporting cast, and you have the opportunity to create an unbelievable life. We know that a great life doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And that's what we've been looking at in these 4 podcasts. And today we're going to kind of wrap things up. We're going to really share with you how you can be the producer and how you can choose the supporting cast to create an unbelievable life. So get ready for another game-changing podcast. See you after the theme tune. The big question is, how are some people in the world today creating the results they want with their health, wealth, and happiness? What exactly are these people doing? This podcast will give you the answers and inspire you to live the life that you want today. Hey everyone, happy beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I've kind of been a little bit overwhelmed by so much of the feedback that we've been getting recently. You know, we recently changed the podcast. This actually is episode 200. This is the 200th episode of the Pete Cohen podcast. We recently changed things around a little bit, new theme tune, new focus, because one of the things I think we all need to do in life is we definitely need to adapt. We definitely need to look at what's going on and look if things are working, if we need to change them. And I felt I really needed to change things up a little bit. You know, my focus is really simple. I want you, wherever you are in the world, to feel like this person is talking to you, that I'm talking to you, because I care for you. Even though I might not know you, I know what you're capable of, and you're not alone if you're struggling. You're not alone if you seem to be going round in circles and trying to create the life that you want. I know that everyone needs help, and I've been so fortunate in my life to get the help of some incredible people who have coached me, mentored me, just people that have shown me another way, plus the fact that I've spent so much of my life basically looking at what works. You know, 2 of the biggest parts of my movie, of my life, has obviously been, you know, my life with my parents. You know, I've been with them a long time. Sadly, my father is no longer here, but, you know, some of the stuff that he shared with me is what I'm passing on to you, which is, my dad always said, look, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And my mum has always said there's an answer to everything. And I do believe there's an answer to everything. And I really, really, really know the power of giving people a new frame of reference. And that's what the last 4 podcasts have all been about you looking at your life as a movie, right? That's the thing that we've all got in common, whether we like it or not, and we should like it. We all love stories, and stories have been told pretty much ever since man really learned to talk in a way that is similar to the way that I am talking now. In fact, I wonder what was the first language. Anyway, that's another story, and I'm sure you might know, and you know what, you can tell us. We've now put together a Facebook page. It's a private Facebook page, but anyone can join. Literally just search on Facebook for the Pete Cohen podcast, and you'll find it. And that's going to be a space for some of you where you can share what it is that you're working on. And we've now started getting emails from people saying, look, this is the movie that I'm creating. We all love stories. And I actually think that many, many, many years ago, when people used to tell stories, the stories were told to entertain people, but also to inspire them to go and create something with their life, to go forth. And that's the only reason we're here today, is that other people in our ancestry have gone forth. Many of them went forth because of bad circumstances. I know that my great-grandfather came here to this country in the UK in 1890. He came from Lithuania. He came here because life wasn't too good there. Most people are driven to create something through unforeseen circumstances or circumstances which don't serve them. Very few people around the world, and this is part of my mission, is to get more people that are going, you know what? This is the life I want to create. This is the person that I want to become. So we looked The last few episodes around you becoming the actor. We also looked at you becoming the director. And this is a really key thing. Just to look at your life and to step back and to realize, yeah, I am acting. Right now I'm acting, and every decision that I make is moving me in a particular direction. What is the direction that I would actually like to go? You know, it is as simple as that. Otherwise, what so many people do is they just live a life where they don't really give much thought to this stuff, and they just go from day to day, and they never really go anywhere. And then they eventually get to a point in their life and go, is this all there is? There must be more to life than this. And I don't want that for you, regardless of your age, regardless of your background. I really encourage you to just wake up and look at things differently. We know that people don't change when we tell them what to do. We know people change when they look at things differently. Right now, I'm working with a professional women's football team. It's absolutely amazing, and it's part of the movie that I am creating. And I decided the type of movie that I wanted to create. You know, I recently looked back and looked at my life and realized, okay, there's a few things that I'd like to change, and there's a few things I want to have happen. And one of the things I want to have happen is I want to be a part of other people's movies. That's why, you know, you listening to this, I'd love to know what it is that you want to do. Let me know, because the selfish part of me would like to be a part of your epic quest, your journey. This is one of the things we looked at. What do you want the theme of your movie to be? What's the theme been for most of your life? Well, for a lot of people, it's been a bit of a drama. You know, there's been a horror story in their life. There's been some adversity. But maybe moving forwards, you want an epic quest. And with this professional football team that I'm working with, what I see, which is also just so awesome, is a group of people, a collective group of people who just want to improve. But they're only going to improve as much as they choose to use the creative part of their brain to identify with the person that they want to become. Otherwise, they are leaving it to chance. In fact, they're leaving it to their past conditioning. And some of our past conditioning is probably pretty good, but some of it isn't. And are you daring enough? Are you, I'd say, confident enough? Are you prepared to stop your own movie for a while and think about a new movie that you want to create? Now, maybe this seems to some of you, I really don't know, but why we want to do this is it possible that you could get excited about the goals and the dreams and your ambitions that you had? In fact, one of the girls in the football team, her English isn't great. She's from Korea. Hopefully she'll listen to this and maybe she will, maybe she'll understand. And this is what I was looking at her, and I was actually quite envious, right? Because she is the captain of South Korea, her football team. And she's playing in this country, and she's traveling, and she's doing what she loves. Now, when I say envious, I kind of was. You know, there's a kind of a part of me that maybe thinks back about some of the things, because I had a soccer scholarship, and in Boston, but I didn't go because a friend of mine had already gone, and he was like a year ahead of me, and unfortunately, he died in a car accident. Mr. Neil Payne, who I still think about like it was yesterday, but yeah, that was in 1992, I think. And for some reason, I didn't go. I can't remember why. I don't know what happened that made me think, well, I better not go. And it's not that I regret that. It's just something in my life. I think to myself, well, you know what, that could have happened. What would that have been like? But then as I look at, they call her Happy Chow, by the way, just as a slight aside here, I just want to tell you this story because some of you maybe know this, but the reason I came to work with this football team is that in my movie, I thought, what's the script? Well, the script is, I want to go out into the world and work with more people who really want to change and really go out and people that just want to perform at their best. And I don't just mean athletes. I mean, look, we go out every day and we perform in our jobs as brothers, as sisters, as mothers, as daughters, as friends, as colleagues, as directors. We go out and we perform every single day. So I'd been thinking about this, and I I started to meditate on it. That's one of the things I do. I believe that when you meditate, you can create possibility. You can start to see things that you want to have happen. As Einstein said, reality doesn't exist in the outside world. Reality exists in the way that we think. We have the opportunity to shape our reality. So I thought about this, and I had been watching a TV series on BBC Three called The Youngest Football Boss, and it was about West Ham United, and I watched it and I thought, what, it'd be really great to work with that team. And be careful what you wish for, be careful what you picture, because most people picture what they don't want, what's wrong, what's missing. Very few people are bold enough to say, no, this is the life I want to create. Anyway, within a couple of days of saying that, a magazine came through the door, and it was our local village magazine, and had something on the front that said, "Meet Coach Beard." I thought, who's Coach Beard? I opened it. It was the coach of West Ham United ladies football team. I contacted him on Twitter. Within a couple of days, he's here. We're talking, and now I'm working with the team. And before I worked with them, in the second to last episode, they had penalties, and it all came down to the last couple of penalties. And what was really interesting to see how nervous most people were about taking the penalty. But then the ball was given to the Korean girl, Happy Chow, and you could just see she put a big smile on her face, like, oh, this is what I play the game for. This is the opportunity that I want. This is the challenge that I want. And of course, she scored. Why am I telling you this? Well, there's a few reasons. Part of because you know what I'm doing in my life right now. But what about you? What about your movie and where you're going? We get this opportunity to carve, to create, to develop our character. And I just want to reiterate this to you. I dare you to think about where you would like to be in a year's time. And why I tell you this, again, if we go back to the football example, last week I was with the team and we were talking about what's the goal for this season. And the goal, the coaches said, is to win the league. Now, if you look at where they finished last season and you look at some other factors, well, you could say, well, that's unlikely to have happened. But that's because you're looking to the past. If you want to do something, you've got to look to the future. And you've got to believe in the future. And this is what great people do. They believe in a future that hasn't happened yet, but it's happened inside their mind. One of the greatest examples of this was the Declaration of Independence. I think it was the nearly 55, 56 people who all got together and decided, look, this whole racism thing, it's got to stop. We have all got to come together. And they knew that by signing that declaration, they were putting their lives on the line. But they were bold enough to think ahead. They were bold enough to think to see a better future. And this is what I said to them. If you can't see the result that you're looking for, and if you can't identify with yourself having won the league and the person that you would have become, don't expect it to happen. Expectation comes from a faith. Where does faith come from? Faith comes from your belief in something. Your belief in something comes from your ability to see something and feel it. But it's not something you just do once. It's got to be done every single day. So in the last podcast, we talked about you becoming the director. The director is the person that's looking out for you. I'm looking out for you wherever you are in the world. I'm directing what I'm saying, and hopefully it's making you look at life differently. But ultimately, my goal for you is that you become the director in your own life. You think, it's like your director is coaching you. It's like you being able to look at yourself objectively, not take it personally, and realize, hey, this is what you're doing here. This is the person you're committed to becoming. And that's when we look at production. And that's part of what I wanted to touch with you today. How do you be the producer? When I think back to this, so some of you will know what that is. That's the theme tune to Star Wars. I saw that film in 1977, and it's permanently imprinted on my life. The story touched me. because it's a universal story that's in every story of someone called to an adversity. Luke Skywalker didn't want to go on that. Well, actually, he did want to go on the journey, but he was scared. He got himself a mentor who was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the story unfolded. And you see someone go on this epic quest, and that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to go on an epic quest. Now, you might say that that film isn't real, but the story is real in terms of people living a life where they have to face something inside themselves, the good and the evil, the choice that you make. Now, I believe that we can make a choice for our own greater good and the greater good of the world by us choosing, as I mentioned in our last podcast, to follow our ikigai. What's our ikigai? It's what the Japanese really refer to as, what are you here to do? I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee here because I appreciate that I'm kind of talking a lot and I don't know whether you just want to take a breath. Well, you can. As I take a sip of the world's healthiest coffee, which is one of the things that I do to get the edge. I'm always looking to get the edge. And I don't know, again, where you are in the world right now, but I'm not messing about here. I've worked with some of the greatest athletes and the greatest teams, and I would say some of the greatest people to ever walk this earth. And I'm sharing my knowledge and wisdom and experience with you. So maybe you could go out and do something incredible. It doesn't have to be grandiose. But I think the root of most people's suffering is they're just not being who they're capable of being. They are repeating history. And if you want to repeat history, you'll always end up doing what you've always done. And then you'll always get what you've always got. So when we talk about production, I'm just asking you to take a look at your life and think, what am I producing here? Daily operation of production. In fact, I wrote down the meaning of the word produce, and that's to develop, to proceed, to extend. And of course, this is about taking ownership. And we know we live in a world where most people don't want to take ownership, just want to blame. It's not my fault, it's your fault. And actually, I don't want to do anything, bring it to me. And that's all very good. But when you really look at people who have reached a level of, I don't believe we'll ever reach our full potential. I believe there's always another level. We can go further, we can go maybe not faster, but most of us maybe could go faster or do better or do more. It's whether we want to. We can go from victim to hero. So as we start to kind of wrap up these 4 episodes, and the whole goal of this is to give you a frame of reference that as we go forwards and deliver more podcasts to you on coaching and you developing yourself, that if you use this framework of, look, my life is a movie, I'm acting, this is where I'm going, this is what I need to produce, this is what I need to think about every single day, waking up and having a production meeting with yourself. Like, what is it that we want to produce today? What's the outcomes that we're looking for today? If you don't do this, then what most people do is they go into reacting mode, rather than creating mode. Very similar words, right? If you take put the C in front of react, you've got create. Isn't that right? I think so. I'm dyslexic, KO. That we've all got this opportunity to create, booking in a session with yourself every single day. And you might go, I haven't got time, the kids. And no. You have to make this a priority. Otherwise, you just become a victim to what you've done before. This isn't easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. It's not something that can be given to you. It's like no one can give you a better body. If you want a more muscular toned body, it's the putting the work in, and it's whether you want to do it. And you're more likely to do it if you see the result this is actually going to get you. So, booking in a session with yourself, and every day, booking in with the director, right? Just sit down. What do we want to do today? What's the goal here? And at the end, what did we produce? And there's information for you that's either going to move you forwards or move you back. And sometimes when things don't work out the way that we want to, we've got an opportunity just to step back and go, okay, now what needs work? What needs work? What went well? What needs work? They're the 2 questions I love to ask every single day. What went work? What went well? What needs work? This is your movie. And as I mentioned in the last episode, Abraham Maslow, one of the most well-known psychologists of the modern era, said what man can be, he must be. Who can you be? Just to have an idea of that and then to commit to that in such a way. Look, I could ask Siri a question. Let me ask Siri. Hey Siri, can you predict my future?
One possibility I see is Caspian Group on Woodland Avenue in Burgess Hill. Is that the one you want?
No, I was asking you if you could predict my future.
The second is Mysteries on Gardner Street, Brighton, about 13 miles to your south. It's open today, from 10 o'clock to 1800 hours. Do you want that one?
No. Can you tell me what my future is?
The third is Nina and Psychic Medium on Rotherfield Crescent, Brighton, about 10 miles to your south.
So isn't this interesting how... No, I'm not interested in someone predicting my future. I was going to ask you if you could predict my future, which is kind of a contraindication because I'm asking you. So should we end this conversation now?
The next one is Inside Psychic Medium on her.
So basically, it's just giving me a whole load of psychic and mediums. And that's so popular. You know, people that want someone else to tell them what their future is going to be. And I only think there's one person that can do that. You have been given this ability to create. You've been given this opportunity to see something that hasn't happened yet. Everything that has ever existed pretty much that's been created by man has existed twice. Once in the head, which I would say is their reality, and then once in actuality where everyone else can see it. This is a hero's journey. This whole thing came about because I came across some incredible work by Mr. Joseph Campbell, who spent his life looking at stories. And what's really kind of crazy is that one of his students was the man... The man who produced the Star Wars films, the directed him, I've forgotten his name. Isn't that crazy? I could ask Siri, couldn't I? Hey Siri, who wrote Star Wars?
Which one?
The first one. The first one.
Solo, a Star Wars story, was written by Jonathan Kasdan and Lawrence Kasdan.
It really doesn't matter. It will come to me in a minute. I trust my brain to give me that information. He was this guy, Joseph Campbell, who spent his whole life looking at every single story that you could think of in mythology and books, could see this thing, this hero's journey that someone has been called to an adventure. They don't want to go. They get a mentor. They get a coach, and they go. And that's why we watch these films. And then they face something that's difficult. They get uncomfortable, and that's something that we've all got to do and recognize there's a part of our brain that wants to keep us to where is familiar, because that's why we have habits. We have habits so that we can forget about our habits and learn new ones. And by the way, in our Facebook page, I asked a question, what podcast would you like some content on? And what came right at the top, in fact, I could probably just bring it up here on the screen, was two. People want advice and help on breaking habits and also on finding their true purpose in life. So wouldn't it be great as we continue this epic quest of working together, as you allow me to be your coach, that let me inspire you and help you and support you around breaking habits and finding your true purpose and living your true purpose. But you doing that when you have a frame of reference around, this is the film of my life. This is what I'm acting out. So I asked the question, and let's see what came up here. So we had 37 people say breaking habits, 32 people say finding your purpose in life, 20 said confidence, 15 said emotional well-being. It's pretty good, right? So I want to give some content to people around this. Not only have I written an international best-selling book called Habit Busting, but I'm not telling you that to impress you. That was in the 90s, and boy, have I learned a lot since I wrote that book. So I want to help you. I really hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts that we've been delivering recently, especially around this whole topic, around, look, you are the writer, you are the director, you're the producer. Think about the daily operation of production. This is the key point of today's podcast. It's taken me a while to get there, but the production in terms of what is it that you need to do every single day to bring yourself closer to the person that you are identifying with the actor. Great actors do this. And most of us are great actors at playing a part that we don't want to play because we're not happy with who we are. It's still something you did and you practiced. It might have come natural to you, but to become another part, that's why we love to watch actors like Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, whoever the actor is, because they've identified with the character that they've played. They've rehearsed it. They've made some mistakes and they've got better and better and better. They've immersed themselves into that character. And that's kind of like what we got to do. And if you're looking for a supporting cast, as Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend most time with. Most of us need to find a supporting cast that really supports us. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to join the Facebook page. If you want to find out what coaching can really do for you and go a little bit deeper into this, go to petecohen.com/coaching. Pete Cohen, COHEN.com/coaching. Watch, there's a 30-minute video out there on 3 secrets to discover creating the life that you want and becoming the leader that you want to follow. Watch that. And you can actually get on a call. You can get on a call with me and we can talk about you, a free call. We can talk about you and see about a strategy. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe you've got everything that you already need. But if you want to take this to a whole new level and you want to look at your life as you are the athlete, I say the athlete, you are the athlete. You're performing every day and it's not easy out there from time to time. And I know that there's fear. There's a lot of fear about people doing this because it really means doing something different, letting go. Who would you be if you became the person that you want to become in your future? Who would you be if you achieved your goals and your dreams and your ambitions? Who would you be if you spent less time procrastinating? Who would you be if you were healthier and stronger? Just being able to think about that means it's possible. The fear, the illusion of fear of can you do it and what would happen and what I might fail, blah, blah, blah. That's the duck in your head. That's the victim in your head. But the genius in you that we mention on these podcasts, what the Romans believed, everyone is born with a genius. There is a genius in you that's just wanting to come out. It's the voice that has got you to listen to this podcast all the way through to this point now, rather than stopping and doing something else. And I commend you for that because they say, whoever they are, that you can only concentrate for a few minutes. Nonsense. Not if something's got your attention. And maybe I've got your attention. I believe in you. I appreciate all of you for having listened to these podcasts. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please make a comment. Share these. Whoever you're listening to it, let us know. Join our Facebook page, Pete Cohen Podcast. We'll get you in. You can. It's anonymous. No one else will see apart from who people are in that group, and you can join a community of people. You can build your supporting cast. Who knows? You maybe even will find someone who wants to create a similar movie to you, and maybe you can help each other, because the only reason the world is here today is that great people have come together and thought, hey, how can I help you? I believe in you. I believe in the person that I am becoming. I actually posted something on Instagram today. You can follow me on Instagram if you like. This is what I wrote. I wrote this. This is my favorite quote, and as far as I know, I came up with it. I am who I am becoming. I love that, don't you? Happy, beautiful day. Thank you for being here, being amazing, being awesome, and I wish you great success and much love for the future. Let's continue to work together. All the best. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want to find out what life coaching can do for you with me, Pete Cohen, then simply visit petecohen.com/coaching and book a free strategy call, and we can help you find out exactly what it is that you want and help you put a plan in place to create the future that you want today.